Going down the aisle, it's WrestlePedia with your host, the savant of the squared circle, the Rayman of wrestling. It's Brody, the insane brain Herman.
Welcome back once again to WrestlePedia with Brody, the insane brain Herman, the savant of the squared circle, the Rain Man of wrestling. Brody, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
And of course, I just go by the name The Dad, as I am his father. Brody is 18, and for those who have never tuned in before, Brody is truly a savant, and one of his areas, and he has many, of expertise is in the world of professional wrestling, which he has absorbed from the time he was in diapers. And fair to say that he's familiar with probably every match, every individual, every manager, every promoter, every booker, and the history and career of just about everybody. Is that accurate?
Yes, it is.
You've got a photographic memory. You've got an audiographic memory. If you've seen it, if you heard it, it's there forever like Google.
Yeah.
It's the hard drive that will not erase, and it's quite a thing to behold. And what we've been doing on this whole first season of the podcast is we're starting off with a season's worth of rankings because I find that those are always great to start debates and to show a little bit of what you know. When we do release a second season, we're going to get into the weeds on a lot of different topics.
Sure.
But this year is all about rankings. So this week's episode is going to be ranking the top 5 finishing moves of all time in the history of wrestling.
Yes.
Now, just to clarify for the fans, and by the way, this would be a good time if you haven't subscribed to the podcast, just go ahead and subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And leave a comment if you disagree or have a question, or send an email to Brody at brody@theinsanebrain.com. That's Brody with a Y. Yeah. And just to clarify for the fans out there, are we talking just purely finishing moves, or will this also include signature moves?
They're both kind of the same thing, their differences. Signature moves, I guess, are moves that they use a lot in the match, but, you can also have a finishing move as your signature. But we're talking about moves that normally a wrestler will end the match.
Okay, so that's an important distinction, because I think some people know that there are people that have signature moves, but they're not exactly ones that will end the match.
Yeah.
These are true finishing moves that you're waiting around the whole match, and you know that if this guy has executed this move, the match is basically over.
Yeah, we're going to start off with.
Do you have any honorable mentions, or are you going to go straight to number 5?
We're going to go straight to number 5. There's so many moves.
I like that. This is a hard list to compile.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of disagreement. But in your opinion, what is number 5 on the list of finishing moves?
It would be Sharpshooter, Scorpion, Deathlock, whatever you want to call the move. It was first originated as a finisher move used by the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Ooh. And of course, who's most famous of using it, who taught him the move, was a phenomenal Mexican wrestler named Conan, and Pat Patterson suggested he used it in WWE. Bret Hart used it and called it the Sharpshooter as well. Who was taught the move was Sting, and WCW used the Scorpion Deathlock as a submission finishing move where you have a wrestler's leg and you use both your legs to tie it in, and you're above him, and you want him to tap out, and it's normally means match over, and it was
so this is important. This is a submission move.
Right, you're trying to make the wrestler tap out in this scenario.
Okay, and you're using your legs? Is this different from the figure 4 leg lock?
Yeah, completely different. It's nothing like the figure 4 leg lock.
Okay, I just was throwing off the little bit, throwing out the little bit that I knew about finishing moves. So that one is called the
Sharpshooter / Scorpion Deathlock, or whatever you want to call it, finishing move.
Okay. And you named some of the wrestlers that have used it over the years and ones that originated it. Let's go to number 4 on your list.
It would be the Rock Bottom / Bookend. It was used primarily by The Rock and Booker T, and it was kind of it was a known finishing move. You literally pick up the wrestler, put your arm over the wrestler's shoulders and neck, and you slam him literally to the mat. And once you knew when he hit that move, it was over. So it was popularized by The Rock and Booker T, and it was kind of a well-known finishing move, and it's been a transcending finishing move ever since.
And so, and people can basically copy other people's
Yeah,
finishing
yeah,
moves.
that's kind of a thing.
That's because there's only so many moves
Right.
that you can have.
And
So
wrestling.
this is not a submission move.
No.
This is one that basically is going to lay them out
Right.
on the mat so hard
Yeah.
that at that point they have no fight
They have
left
no
in them.
fight left in him, and this is over.
Okay, let's go to number 3 on the list of the best finishing moves in the history of professional wrestling. What do you have?
It's normally called a frog splash, and this is when a wrestler lays on his back on the mat, and the wrestler goes on the top rope. And many wrestling promotions banned top rope moves back in the day, so it might be a more modernized move. But a lot of wrestlers like RVD, Eddie Guerrero, currently guys like Hornswoggle and Ryback, and a lot of other wrestlers use the frog splash to end a match. It's a finishing.
So they go to the top.
Right, they just jump off the top, and the wrestler's on the mat, and they hit the wrestler. A lot of
What
this,
part of their body hits the wrestler?
their
chest?
abdomen hits the other
How is
wrestler's
this different
abdomen.
than what Jimmy Superfly Snuka used to do?
He did a version. He was the first to really bring the splash to the market. Was Jimmy Superfly Snuka? That is correct.
I remember, again, looking back to when I was in 2nd grade, it was Greg Garris, who I recently reconnected with on Facebook after all these years. He introduced me to that wrestling move by getting up on a chair in Mrs. Newfield's 2nd grade class.
Yeah.
And he did this, and he yelled Superfly, and he dove off of the chair and landed right on me. And that's how I was first introduced. I didn't really mind. He didn't hurt me.
No.
It was just sort of pretend.
Abdomen on abdomen.
But I
type of
will
move.
say, though, that he really introduced me to professional
Yeah.
wrestling, because then I wanted to see what that looked like, on the thing. That's the whole reason I tuned in
it's
and
pretty,
watched.
and it's a pretty looking finish, and everyone kind of knows. Okay, this is a big climax in the match when the wrestler dives off the top rope. So
But
it's kind of a huge
it
thing.
is when they do it successfully. But
Yes.
that is a move.
It can
that
be countered easily. You stick your
Easily.
knees up. You
that
use the
you
chair.
roll out of the
roll
way.
out of the way.
So
Right.
in the world of finishing moves, great when it's effective.
Right.
But probably one of the easiest
Yeah,
to
to
defend
counter.
once it's
Right.
mid-move.
Right.
Okay, that takes us to number 2 on
Yeah.
the finishing list. What do you have?
Number 2 would be, it's known now as the RKO, the Diamond Cutter, and it's when the wrestler does that twist where he uses his arms and it was originally, it's called Twist of Fate, and you twist, and it looks like you twist the guy's head out of nowhere with your arms, and you knock him to the mat. It was originally used by one of our most despised wrestling figures. You can listen to another episode. John Laurinaitis actually originally used the move. It was originated by him, and it was used, Diamond Dallas Page called it the Diamond Cutter, really got him over, and Triple H used it as his finisher early in his career until Diamond Dallas Page wasn't really cool with that, and then he ended up using the pedigree, and Randy Orton uses it now as the RKO, and it's kind of become one of the most famous finishing moves in wrestling. When it comes out of nowhere, and you're like, oh my god, the match is over, it's a very good, effective finish, not only because the match is over, but it comes out of nowhere, and it's a very... So it's not a subtle move like like the frog splash where you climb up and you know what's going to happen. This move just comes out of nowhere.
This is a subtle move.
Yeah.
It's not an obvious move.
It's not an obvious move.
It's a sneak move.
It's
a
a
little
sneak,
bit. You don't see it coming, and then before you know it's there.
Right.
Okay, well that's fabulous. I'm sure people are sitting there wondering what could possibly be the number 1 move. I have a pretty good feel. I don't know these things ahead of time. We don't prepare like that. I like to keep it fresh and organic. But I have my own prediction, and if this is not number 1, I'm sure as hell going to ask about it. What do you have as the number 1 finishing move?
This is the most... When you think about wrestling, you think about this particular move. It's known as the Tombstone Piledriver.
The Piledriver. That's exactly what I was
thinking.
thinking.
You have to know...
The Piledriver has
to be the
one.
greatest finisher, because it was originally it started off by a wrestler named Don Morocco did the Piledriver. That was his thing.
He was one of my favorites, Magnificent Morocco.
And Magnificent Morocco, he did a Piledriver, and then many wrestlers, Jerry Lawler had their own version of it, Mick Foley had their own version of it, Undertaker and Kane do the most famous one, a Tombstone Piledriver. It's when you take the wrestler, you use the knees to securely secure the head and the wrestler's legs, and you hug the wrestler with the legs. You're really hugging the legs. The legs, you're basically, they're crosses in your face, but they're reversed, and you're hugging the wrestler, and the knees support the head as you plant them down on the mat, and that is the basic Piledriver of wrestling. It's the most known finishing move ever, because when you do a Piledriver, people expect the match to be over. When you kick out of a Piledriver,
it's very hard to recover from that. Now, obviously, it requires the highest degree of choreography.
Sure.
Because you can be breaking people's necks.
Right.
They used to say of all the moves, that's the one you don't want to be trying at home. Because these guys, you know, if they do it well, it really does look like they've driven the head into the mat.
Right.
But if they're doing it correctly,
it's
safely,
the knees,
it's really the knees,
the
and the knees are taking the impact.
Yes, the knees.
That said, it does not tickle, folks, and people are going down on their own weight. So I don't know if you could think off the top. I remember Don Morocco when he used to do his promos. He used to be interviewed by Mean Gene.
Yes.
I was just a kid, but he used to go, Tito Santana, you can hit me, you can punch me. You can knock me down, but you can't keep me down.
No.
Yeah, he used to say that.
Yes, he did. That was his.
I mean, I don't do a great impersonation of him, but remember, I was like 12 watching him, so I haven't watched him in years.
He is one of the greatest wrestlers that had a short prime.
Look.
Yeah, he had that look, and he was
an Intercontinental Champion.
He was. He was a heel. He was a bad guy. He was a heel Intercontinental Champion. Tito Santana was the all-out good guy. I mean, he was
right. And Tito Santana had won that from what was his name?
I think he won it.
Or was it
Don Morocco?
Won it first. From who?
From Patterson, I think.
That's possible. There was one other guy though in there. I can't remember.
Patterson was in it, and then it was Morocco, and it was somebody else, and then maybe Patterson won it again, and then it went to Morocco, and then it was a few there, and then we'll talk about him in a later episode. Steamboat and Savage kind of were the guys that took over that role once they got him faded out.
But I love Morocco. Let me ask you this about the Piledriver. Off the top of your head, can you think of the most unlikely Piledriver that was ever done? In other words, somebody picked up somebody else who was maybe way bigger than they were, who they had really no business being able to pile drive, but they were able to somehow do it.
I mean, you think about this. Let's go this Tuesday it was the 1991 Survivor Series when Undertaker pile drove Hulk Hogan. That was unbelievable. Like, Hulk Hogan did not lose much to wrestlers back then. When Undertaker, this young gun, coming in a year earlier and rising all the way up to the top, when a pile driver was used there in a shocking moment, and as that made it a main event top finishing move, not just a menial finisher.
So it's not that the move. So this was used. Hulk Hogan did not lose a lot, but when he lost to the Undertaker, it was the pile driver.
It was the pile driver.
And I'm assuming you can watch that match on the WWE
Yes,
Network.
you can on Survivor Series 1991.
Probably on YouTube as well, as popular as that was. Well, listen, this has been a real education and a lot of fun. You know, I think that just like a Saturday Night Live character loves to have a catchphrase, I think a wrestler needs to have a great signature move or a great finishing move. I mean, that to me is part of the character that you're developing.
As well as wrestlers have great catchphrases too. Let's not deny that.
No, that's true. But to me, if you a signature move, you know, something that when people see it, they associate it with you.
Right.
To me, that means you've made it as a wrestler.
As a wrestler, you've broken your bones.
So anyway, this has been a fun episode. Again, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to the podcast or the channel.
Yeah.
We have a lot of fun stuff, and you don't have to agree with everything that he's saying. These, of course, are our opinions.
Yeah.
But that's the whole fun of having wrestling debates, is sort of hearing the other opinions. And I know for me, sometimes my opinion changes. Somebody else makes a great point that I hadn't really considered, and I say, you know what? I think they're right.
Yeah.
So if you have an opinion that you think is like that, put it in the comments, or email Brody at brody@theinsanebrain.herman. If you have any, at the .com. brody@theinsanebrain.com.
Yep.
And if you have any suggestions for other shows or topics that we should do, or if you want to stump Brody with something that you don't think he knows about, I dare you to try to stump him, because he's going to get it. I think that wrestler's name was Pedro something.
Pedro Morales was WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
Was he?
Yes.
I feel like Pedro
he was
Morales
early
was
70s. He might have been later in his career. I think early 70s. Most people
I feel like Morocco won that from Pedro Morales.
Pedro might have beaten
Tito. And then Tito Santana beat Morocco.
Yeah, he probably beat.
They went back and forth a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyway, see, this is what happens. You start remembering things and you debate things.
Yeah.
And we want you to join in on the fun. So follow us, share us with your friends. And it was great having you here. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.